Hi guys, welcome to our lesson on statistics. We will be looking at grouped data calculation. We started looking at ungrouped data, so please, if you have not watched the ungrouped data for the calculation of variance, mean deviation and standard deviation, maybe you may want to check it out and watch it again. Now, so in this particular video, we'll be looking at grouped data calculation, and we have an example on the board. So they say below is the frequency distribution table of PCV, which is packed cell volume of that 365 students in a school, right? And this is the PCV, right? This is the PCV from 30 to 34. You have a frequency of 50 and so on like that. This is a total of all the frequency. Now we are asked to calculate the mean deviation, the variance, and the standard deviation. Now this is what we are asked to do. And so first of all, before we go into the calculation for these values or variables, we need to prepare a table that will be necessary for us to go into the calculation. So you will write this PCV, which actually could also mean class interval, right? So in case you see that in your textbook, class interval is also the same thing as this. So we have it on this first column, right? Either you call it class interval or you can call it just your PCV. So from 30 to 34, right? Yes, from 30 to 34, then you write all of them out like this. That is this is the PCV. We write it vertical. Now this X stands for midpoint. Okay, midpoint. How do we get the midpoint? Now to get the midpoint, you add this the lower limit, right, which is 30, with the upper limits. So if you add 30 and 34, this will give you 64. And when you divide 64 by 2, you are going to get 32. And then you add these two guys, right? When you add these two guys, that is 35 with 39, your answer, you divide it by 2, it will still going to give you 37, right? Then 40 plus 44 will give you 84. And if you divide 84 by 2, it will give you 42. Now, I am seeing a pattern here, right? What do you notice? I'm seeing 32, 37, 42, 47, 52. Now, it mustn't be like this in every solution or in every work you have, right? But for me, I like to see a pattern, and then it helps me to know that I'm on the right path in an exam situation. Now, this is our frequency. This F stands for our frequency. So for this first class limits or class interval, we have 50. For the second one, we have 81. For the third one, we have 102, and so on like that. And you know, when you add up your frequency, right, just like it is added here, we got 365. Same with this. If you add it this way, you have 365. Now, the next column is going to be fx, and fx actually means f multiplied by x. So our f here is what? 50, and our x here is what? Is 32. So if you multiply this, punch it to your calculator. If you multiply these two, you get 1,600. If you multiply 37 by 81, sorry please, this is 81. Alright, if you multiply 37 by 81, you get 2,997. Then if you multiply 42 by 102, you get 4284, right? 4284. And then you do that for all of them. Now you add up all this, your fx column, right? You add up all this, your fx column, and this will give you 15,000, right? 15,325. Now, why do we need to do all of this work? Now, you cannot, please, very important. Nobody will tell you this in an exam situation. you cannot find mean deviation without mean. So all of these long processes we are going through is just for us to calculate mean. Do you understand? Now, so what is the formula for mean? I'm going to use that side. All right, so solution. Now mean, which is x with a bar, is equals to summation fx all over summation f. Please note that this formula is for grouped data, right? We also have another formula for mean, which is x is equals to summation x over n. This formula is for ungrouped data. Alright? But this is for what? This is for grouped. Since our data is a group data. So what was our summation fx? Right? Summation fx. Our summation fx, if we trace it this way, is 15,325. Then what is our summation f? Our summation f is 365. So we plug into that formula. We have 15,325 divided by 365. Everything will give you 41.98. If you punch this on a calculator, it will give you 41.98. But note that PCV is a discrete data, so we have to approximate it. So approximately we have 42. Don't forget to put your units, right? PCV is in percent, so you put your units. All right. So that is for the mean. Now with this, we can go ahead to calculate mean deviation. Okay. Now, so if you look at this column deals with deviation. Now, what was our x again? Our x here, our x is 32. You see 32? Now, so this column I say is meant for what? Mean deviation. So our x here is 32. So 32 minus our mean, which is 42. So 32 minus 42 will give you minus 10. Okay? Then 37 minus 42 will give you minus 5. Then 42 minus 42 will give you 0. Alright? Then 47 minus 42 will give you what? 5. And then 52 minus 42 will give you 10. Okay. Now, so this is the column for that we are going to use to calculate mean deviation. So what is the formula for mean deviation? Alright, mean deviation is equals to summation open brackets modulus x minus x bar modulus squared everything over n. Okay, everything over n. So what is modulus again? If you notice, this is minus 10 and this is minus 5. But the formula says we should sum everything. So when we want to sum it, we ignore this sign. And that is why we put modulus there. So modulus means to ignore the sign. So we add 10 plus 5, which is 15, right? Plus 5, 20, plus another 10 is 30. Are we together? So we have 30 over 5. Okay? 30 over 5 will give you what? 6. Don't forget to put your units, which is what? 6%. So your mean deviation for this, your answer for mean deviation is 6%. All right. So we are done with one of the questions that was asked, because we are meant to calculate mean deviation, variance, and standard deviation. Now let's move to variance. Okay. Now the formula for variance is s squared is equals to summation f open bracket x minus x bar squared. all over summation f. Even though in some books you will see it this way, or summation f x minus x bar squared all over summation f minus 1. Okay, so you may see this in some books, right? But basically that's the formula for variance. Now if you notice, we already have this column here. Now, but before we go to this column, we need to understand how we got to this column. Now you remember how we got this place? This place was x, our values of x, which is this. We subtracted these answers, these values from 42, which is our mean, to get these values here. All we need to do to get this value is to square our answer. So if we square 10, it will give you 100. If we square 5, it will give you 25. 0 will give you 0. 5 will give you 25, and so on. Now, this will be multiplied with f. What is our f? Our f values are these. These are f values. So 50 for this first row. For this first row, 50 multiplied by 100 will give you 5,000. Then 81 multiplied by 25 will give you 2025. Then 105 multiplied by 0 will still give you what? 0. Then 84 multiplied by 25 will give you 2,100. Then the last one, 48 multiplied by 100 will give you 4,800. Now, so that's how we got this last column. So you notice that we multiply what we have here, which is x minus x bar, we multiply with our values of f. Now, so to calculate our standard deviation, we need to sum these last columns together. So this plus this plus this plus this gives us 13,925. So we plot this value into our work. So we say s squared is equals to 13,925 over 365. That's if you are using this one. But if you are using this one, you have 13,925 over, right? This is 365. If you subtract 1 from this, it will be 364. Okay, so if you punch this on your calculator, what you will get is 38. For this one, you get 38.15, while for this one, you will get 38.25. 38.25. Now, if you approximate these answers, right? Since we are dealing with PCV to the nearest whole number, you just have 38%, and this one also is, if you approximate this answer, approximate, you also have 38%. And that is why I say it's not actually, the -1 does not actually cause any serious difference in the answer. Alright, so that is how to calculate variance. Alright, now let's go ahead to calculate standard deviation. Now, for standard deviation, as I said earlier on, the difference between variance and standard deviation is just the square root sign. Alright, that's just the difference between the two guys. So, alright, so my standard deviation is denoted by S. Right, is equals to summation f open bracket x minus x bar squared all over summation f. Then I'll put everything in a square root. That's just the difference. All right. So if I do this way, what is my value here? Right, is to still be the same answer. So I have 13,925 all over 365. I'll put everything in square roots. Then s is equals to what? Square root of 3 So if you check the square root of 39.15, you have 6.17. So approximately you have 6%. All right, so that is that about standard deviation as it relates to grouped data. I hope it's clear. If you didn't understand it, please go over it and watch the video again. And thank you very much for watching.